that takes us to our next series of clips, which these ones are about one issue, which is the issue tracker. So let's check it out.
Do you have any updates on the issue tracker? We can't go into specific detail right now, but we are actually working on something which will be showing in the next coming weeks, which will alleviate some of the concerns that some people have where, you know, sometimes it can seem like things can get into the issue tracker and maybe not be seen. We're actually going to be, you know, heading that front on and working on that in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have more to share very, very soon on that one.
100%. Look, when I first joined, you know, I was sort of getting to grips with behind the scenes and all that sort of good stuff, bad stuff, etc., etc. One of the things that kept coming up is the issue tracker. It's fantastic having a forward-facing, I call it device because it makes it easier, so people can see what's being raised. However, it's not working properly. I think we all know that. I think we've had enough issues with the issue tracker as it is, excuse the pun. So we are actually working very hard with the QA team at the moment to revise some of the stuff, that how it's used, how it's displayed, and we're hopefully going to have something to share on that sort of towards the end of June. I don't want to make too many promises on it because it's a fair old bit of spaghetti to unravel. But you're absolutely right. It needs to be clearer, and we also need to make sure that it's working as intended, because there's a lot of stuff that the issue tracker currently doesn't do, which is a pain for all of us because, you know, it doesn't recognize duplicates, it doesn't put them together, so it makes it seem like there's a huge morass of stuff that's just there, and it isn't very clear. And you're absolutely right, so it is on my agenda to get fixed.
All right, so this is interesting because basically it's the same question asked in two different locations an hour away from each other. The first is, what about the issue tracker on SuperCruise News, on Frontier's official stream? And the answer is, yes, we're looking into it. We've got some exciting stuff, but we can't really give any details just now. We'll talk to you guys when we can. Then an hour later, on the non-official, not Frontier stream, on another source, LAVE Radio, you got much more details in the answer. Yes, the problem with it is that it's a jumble of spaghetti code. It's not properly tracking things. It's not properly displaying things. It's not removing duplicates. We have all of these issues and we're working on them, and we're going to, you know, in a month or so, we're going to have you a better working something at it. We're going to, you know, we're going to have it better. And I'm not trying to be, you know, nitpicky here, but I think this clearly demonstrates to me sort of how Frontier so often misses the messaging. If all of this stuff was something that could be said openly and freely and publicly by their lead community manager on a public forum, why could they have not said those things to their own customers an hour earlier directly? Having said that, I'm super psyched for the issue tracker being fixed. I think it'll be awesome. All right. First up on this one is Tweaked, and then BOSSLADY, and then Black Maze.
All right. Do you see a trend here? Odyssey is kind of sort of broke, but we're going to make it better. Our communication is kind of sort of broke, but we're going to make it better. Our issue tracker is kind of sort of broke, but we're going to make it better. I mean, come on. Is there any part of this that is working properly? If they tell you don't report your troubles on the forums, don't give them to us on Twitter, don't give them to us on Facebook, put them to the issue tracker, and then they turn around and say, but the issue tracker's not really working all that well. So how are we supposed to give them the issues? It's almost laughable how nothing is working for them right now. At least nothing regarding Elite Dangerous, I should specify.
BOSSLADY.
Oh my gosh, I am literally laughing because that's like the week I've had. They must be having such a bad time because yeah, it is. Tweaked hit it on the head. It's basically nothing's quite working as we intended. We're having to work on, I mean, that's so bad that they're having to work on the software for their issue tracker to be able to fix the issues that are coming up on the game. You know, it's, oh man, they must be having, they must need a really stiff drink. What I think about that is that they've done this, it's forced them to do what they're doing right now, which is to focus on an issue and to create a separate almost issue tracker, which you guys have talked about the last couple weeks. And so in a way, it is forcing them to come up with a new way of interfacing with the community. And I think that might lead to something better going forward. But ouch, ooh, I feel them right now.
And any comment on the fact that on two separate things, an hour away from each other, they're giving out more information now all of a sudden?
I think your point was really good, because it is that kind of thing, like what, and it may just be a case of, because it was a planned stream, they had kind of the points they had to get through. Arf thought about it afterwards and then went, oh, I have more information on this when he got on LAVE, or that just the way that LAVE runs their show left the opportunity for him to say more. I think actually that was great. And like you said, I would have loved for that to have been in the official one. And maybe there's something they can do to bring that into the official, more of that conversational talking about things, not just short form. Here's what you got done.
Yeah, as Sensei Jimbo in the chat says, we need an issue tracker. Black Maze.
Yeah, wow. The issue tracker. So, where to start? You know what? Just to sidetrack a little bit and talk about communication on this. Why is it that I need to watch live streams to learn this stuff? That's my first question, because I'm not somebody that watches streams very often. I have a day job. I don't watch their news stream every day because it's during work hours. And I don't know exactly where they set this, but why is this only on a live stream? I'm an active player. I report a shit ton of bugs, even to the point where the communities that I'm active in, they almost get tired of me because I'm asking for people to put their replications in, press the vote button. Guys, we need more votes because nobody is looking at the issue tracker thing that I've created. If we get more people talking about or putting the replication in, maybe they'll put their little acknowledged emblem on it. And so I get confused. I get demotivated to create these because my friends are getting sick of me asking them to help me create them. And then I'm hearing this. Honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. Is you guys talking about it now, about them talking about improvements to the issue tracker? I had no idea this was even a thing. Why do I have to watch their live streams to learn about this?
I've got something to add to that, but I want to let Boss Lady hop in first. She wants to double down on something you said as well. Go.
I want to double down on this, and it's almost Kai may be mad at me because this is like phasing Elite Week out. No, so I come to Elite Week each week to learn these things. So even I'm a step further. I don't have time to watch the live stream because it's 2 to 3 hours each, twice a week. I don't have that much time to dedicate to just sitting there and listening to a live stream. I would like one source of media where I can go and find that out. And that's why I like Elite Week, because we get to find those information out. But what Black Maze brought up is a really good point. And it's what I've said a lot, which is if people don't know about the live stream, or like I used to be a commander that was not connected into the community. If you're checking Galnet and you see the Galnet articles, but you don't see the real life news for the game, like they're working on the issue tracker, there's no way a player is going to be able to find out about this information. So I do think there needs to be maybe something on the launcher or something, because even the forums are hard to get into and see that news. So I do think that's a really good point, Black Maze, because, we're there to play the game. We're not there to watch hours of live streams just to get the news,
Absolutely.
Yay, Elite Week.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the plug for Elite Week. That's awesome. The point that I was going to make, and it's very similar to what you were saying there, Boss Lady, is I think that for every development stream, for every developer stream, they have a list of announcements they're making. They're like checking, you see them looking over at the computer and like, oh, did I get all my points? There's some shared email or list that they're all reading about, through and checking them off as they go. I think that for every developer stream where they're making announcements, or community manager rather stream where they're making announcements, that number one, that all of those announcements should be dictated onto the forums.
Yes.
Number 2, it should go in the community letter that people sign up for that right now just tells you, hey, here's a fucking paint job for your, Corvette. You could be like, no, and also here's the dictated announcements from the live stream this week. Oh, and also in the launcher, if you put it in every place, if they were to tweet it out and say, here's the stuff, I think more people would see it. And yes, there's a lot of times where people say, man, I don't want to waste 2 hours watching people play the game badly. I just want to know the information. If you tweet it, put it in the forums, and put it in the launcher, and put it in that weekly letter that they send out where they try to sell us paint jobs for ARCs, everyone will have a much better chance of seeing it. Everyone that wants to, or is interested enough to, will have a much better chance of seeing it, and they can, save 2 hours of their life and not watch people running around in a conflict zone.